stand against one of the most powerful multinationals in the world and has led our community into a very serious battle to save their environment, to save their lives, and ultimately to represent the people of this country against a major injustice that was done by the previous government in selling out our gas and oil to Shell. Please welcome Moire Harrington from Shell to Sea in Mayo.
Hello, thanks for letting me speak to you. Right, you're here, we're 200 miles away in North Mayo, and we have been fighting for the past 13 years. We started off, like the Ringzing people, to protect our own place, and then we learned about the actual terms and conditions of the giveaway of our gas and oil, and the fact that every last person standing here is as entitled to fight for what's happening in Rossport as those of us who have been doing down there. We've held the fort, but 13 years on and 10 years behind schedule, Shell, with the full might of this cursed state behind them, still haven't knocked us down, and we have no intention of lying down. Our fight in North Mayo, it came to ye briefly in Dalkey. It's moving all over the country, off the shores. Tony O'Reilly is farming it out. He's sitting on the licenses, farming it out to the big multinationals to come in here and take the lot, while men, women and children are suffering poverty, suffering deprivation, and will do so for generations to come unless the lot of us get our act together. And I am of the firm belief that what happens in North Mayo will determine an awful lot about what happens in the rest of the country. It's our fight, it's everybody's fight, and it's not over by a long shot. Good on you, thanks.
Thanks, Breach. I'm going to say a few words for those people from Ringsend that have just been mentioned. Some people here are telling us that the taxi men are afraid because they're going to not get their tax clearance. I'm telling people here, we're not supposed to be afraid of the government. The government are supposed to be afraid of us. That's the message we take to the government. Do not be afraid today. Stick together and fight this. Margaret Thatcher was not brought down on the Falklands War, on 12 people dying on hunger strike. She was brought down in 89 by the poll tax. That's what took her down. So just hang around, stick together, and like the people of Ringsend who fight and struggle on every issue, including the incinerator, we're sticking together on this. We're going to fight it and let the government know that we're not afraid of them. They should be afraid of us.
Well done, Annette. And just to our brothers and sisters from Europe, it's good to see you here. We're fighting too. Okay, at this point I want to call on any of the public sector workers who'd like to say a few words to please do so, because it's very significant what the government are doing. Next week they're going to shove through legislation which will allow them, whenever they say it's necessary, to cut pay and to make people work longer. I met young workers this week from both the public and private sector who are being forced to work longer and harder for less. There goes the air coach. People are working longer and harder for less, and they're being taxed more, and the rich are making a fortune on the backs of workers and the unemployed. That's why we're standing up and saying, no way, we won't pay and we won't take any more austerity. Does anybody want to sing a rebel song? We're outside the GPO after all. Anybody want to sing a rebel song? No? No. Here we have a rebel song singer. The Clash, is it?
It's a ballad about a man who occupied this building back in 1916. He was badly wounded and carried out to Kilmainham jail, where of course he was shot. The ballad of James Connolly. A great crowd had gathered outside of Kilmainham, their heads uncovered, they knelt to the ground. inside that grim prison lay a true Irish soldier, his life for his country about to lay down. He went to his death like a true son of Ireland, and the firing party he bravely did face. When the order rang out, present arms and fire, James Connolly fell into a ready-made grave. The black flag was hoisted, their cruel deed was over, and gone was the man who loved Ireland so well. There were many a sad heart in Dublin that morning when they murdered James Connolly, the Irish rebel. God's curse on you, England, you cruel-hearted monster. Your deeds they would shame all the devils in hell. There are no flowers blooming, but the shamrock is growing on the grave of James Connolly, the Irish rebel. The four courts of Dublin the English bombarded, and the spirit of freedom they tried hard to quell. But above all the din rose the cry of no surrender. 'Twas the voice of James Connolly, the Irish rebel. Many years have gone by since the Easter Rebellion, when the guns of Britannia they loudly did speak. But the bold IRA they stood shoulder to shoulder, while the blood from their bodies flowed down Sackville Street. But above all the din rose the cry of no surrender. 'Twas the voice of James Connolly, the Irish rebel.
Up the rebels, well done, well done. Okay, I'll sing a song and you have to follow me, all right? Everything I sing, you have to sing after me, all right? Okay. Power to the people, 'cause the people got the power. Oh, tell me, can you hear it? Getting louder by the hour. Power, power, power to the people, 'cause the people got the power. Oh, tell me, can you feel it? Getting stronger